in crimson on the front of their Nike uniforms. As Josh Layton comes to the center circle, it will be Jeremy Thomas, his first start in 3 games. In against Gabe Springer. It's Springer that wings the tip, feeds it to Washington, and we're underway here at the Haven. It's Washington going left to right for the Haven. Nouse to Washington, left wing, left dribble drive, swung out right corner, Stewart, extra for Nouse, right wing 3, that one strong, rebound Deegan, back to Stewart, left dribble drive, Stewart floats it up, left it short, and scooping it up is Thomas, who quickly was able to crash the boards.
Good ball movement there by the Haven there.
It was Isaiah Stewart, wasn't it, that fed Nouse on the right wing, but couldn't get the open 3, and now it's Kearney up top. Onto the left side, the redshirt sophomore and Cote. To Nelson, the junior. Nelson out to the right side for Easter. Easter into the paint for Thomas. Thomas falls away and gets the finish. Well, Jeremy Thomas II, we highlighted him prior to this game. Coming back in for the first time in 3, he opens the scoring here. 2-0. Clarion just less than a minute into this game. The Haven, their second offensive possession. Washington trying to roll it to Springer. It's intercepted by Thomas. Thomas on the other end, coast to coast. Couldn't get the finish. Look out, heavy contact. As the foul was called, Springer was there to contest. Thomas really took a tumble on that far side. He looks to be okay, and he'll head to the line for 2 free throws.
Right off the bat there, talking about Thomas. Glad that he's back in the game as well. Proving that he's going to be an X factor here in this game already.
Thomas, very efficient from the field, 58% shooting this season, but is only 5 of 8 from the line and missed it all on the first free throw attempt. But don't let that missed free throw fool you. This guy is a game changer. As we saw early on, he had a good steal, a bucket, and is trying to split the pair at the line. The second one from Thomas, that one nothing but nylon, and it's 3-0 Clarion, just past a minute gone. Lock Haven have yet to win a conference game. They lost to Pitt Johnstown and IUP. 2 teams that should be noted expected to really contest in the PSAC West this season. Here's Washington to the right wing for Stewart. Stewart with the right dribble drive, gets the blow by and gets the 2. Well, Isaiah Stewart getting it to go down low. That opens the scoring for the Haven, a 3-2 game. Here's Nelson taking it across the timeline. The Wisconsin native Stewart getting the first points for the Haven. It's up top to Cote. Over towards the right wing is Kearney. Up for Thomas. On the left side for Easter with 15. Pass down low for Kearney against Deegan. Floats one up and in. Well, the paint has been open here early on for Clarion. 2 made buckets down low as Cam Kearney gets his first points. Washington, the other end, blocked away at the apex by Thomas. Oh, what an impact he has had early on. And the handoff for Kearney. Driving on Stewart. Flip to Nelson. They reset up top. Cote to Easter on the low block. Thomas drives down low under the cylinder, just throws it up and in. How in the world did he get that one?
Wow, what a play.
Here's Stewart on the opposite end. On the left elbow, stops to Deegan, left side Washington. Back to Stewart, left corner, entry pass to Springer down low against Thomas, and a travel. Travel called there on Gabe Springer to the chagrin of Lock Haven's starting center. Clarion really showing early on here why. They're 7-1 on this season. They're making excellent defensive plays, a steal and a block for Jeremy Thomas, getting their big man down low back in the game, and what a contribution he has had. Here's Nelson to the aforementioned Thomas on the right wing. Still 20 to shoot. Haven not pressing. Easter. Central Dauphine graduate. Hands it off to the right side. Now the right elbow. Jay short. Rebound tipped in the air and picked up by Mike Nouse. That is the first possession that Clarion didn't get points. It's a 7-2 lead. Just over 17 minutes to play in the first half. Washington calling the play up top. Calls for that double high post. Washington evades it. Goes left side and a hand check. Called a hand check foul. I believe that was on Justice Easter. First team foul there called. Or rather, they called on Trey Nelson, the opposite guard, a transfer out of Mount Olive, who picks up his first. Here's Washington to inbound. Gives it down low to Deegan, but he smokes the layup. Rebounded there by Cody. On the other end, Easter. Easter coast to coast, and he gets the finish. Well, that was a 4-point swing, wasn't it? The missed layup. And on the opposite end, Easter, unmarked, was able to get a good layup to go. 9-2 Clarion early. Here's Washington, guarded by Nelson. Gives a left wing for Nouse against Cote. To the left corner is Washington with 16 to shoot. And they'll say he stepped out of bounds. Well, there was some close defending there from Trey Nelson. And Clarion, who I should be noted, if you want to call a weakness on this team, has been their defensive game. They have struggled with turnovers and overall allowing points, but they have really stifled Lock Haven to start this game offensively.
Yes, they have. And having 2 turnovers already, one being a travel and then stepping out of bounds there. You just got to protect the ball just a little bit better.
Here's Nelson to the left side for Cote. Up top to Easter, the Harrisburg native, right side for Kearney. Kearney, a chap step 3 is up, missed it all, rebounded there by Stewart. Smallest dude on the floor picking up the rebound. And now Stewart on the other end, kicks it across and swatted by Thomas. It is a no-fly zone when Thomas is down low. His second block in just over 3 minutes played, and that had a little mustard on it.
Comes out of nowhere.
It wasn't even in the frame, wasn't he, Josh? Just coming out of nowhere to swat it. And now Washington to inbound. Looking for support. We'll swing it to Deegan on the left wing. It seems like points in the paint will come at a premium for the Haven. Deegan double team, nearly traveled. Didn't get called. Now's got it on the halfway line. 16 to shoot. They give it to Washington. Washington crossover. A stutter step now guarded by Thomas. A mismatch. Washington drives on Thomas. Puts up. Blocked again by Thomas. And this is just a performance to remember. You want to talk about getting back in the lineup. He's taking the game over. Washington to inbound with 8 to shoot. First, Stewart falls away and can't get the layup. That was an open shot, but the entry is stolen by Washington. Washington extra first Stewart, who this time is able to get it to go. Stewart with all 4 points for the Haven. They trail by 5. Thomas now playing point guard. Why not? Here's Easter, right elbow. Jay is up. That one misses left. And Springer was there to pick up the rebound. Deegan quickly on the opposite end for the Haven. Back to Washington, right wing for Naus. Naus entry pass to Springer, guarded by Thomas. Thomas goes down in an offensive foul. And yet again, we see the Shippensburg native, Jeremy Thomas, implement himself, this time drawing a charge. As we go to our first media timeout, it is clear who's taking this game over. Jeremy Thomas II back in the lineup and back in business as Clarion leads 9-4, 4.5 minutes in. You're tuned in to Lock Haven Basketball on the Bear Country Sports Network.
Only sports fans. We pack stadiums, arenas, and local gyms every day. And every sports fan is uniquely human. Seeing each play with your own eyes, triggering your own emotions. And as humans, we won't agree on every call, but we can act with empathy and consideration. So put yourself in the official shoes. Be more than a fan. Be officially human.
.9 FM.
4.5 minutes into this game, Lock Haven 4, Clarion 9. But Josh, this game belongs to Jeremy Thomas of Clarion. He has done it all in the early stages.
I mean, from having 3 blocks to even bringing the ball up the court the last possession, he's doing everything right now.
And I tell you what, the only reason I could think of that he's not on the floor is he's on a minutes restriction. Coming back from an injury, he's actually off the bench. Josiah Howe in the game in place of Thomas. As it's up top here for Nelson. Nelson to the right corner for Cote. Cote on the right elbow, pulls up and hits. Gavin Cote, the pace transfer, redshirt sophomore, able to open his account, 11-4 Clarion. Here's Washington across to Naus on the left wing. Up top to Kevin Coleman, who's checked in for the first time. Coleman closely guarded by Howe. The 2 players coming off the bench getting stifled early. Here's Stewart now stepping into a 3. That one misses right. Grabbing the rebound, the Mount Olive transfer, Trey Nelson. Nelson to the left wing. Quick pass left corner for Kearney. Kearney driving into that left elbow, keeping the dribble, spins, puts it up, and catch the tough finish. There's a little extra mustard on that one from Cam Kearney. The 22-point-per-game scorer, he's got 4. And now on the other end, Stewart trying to go quick, and they call a blocking foul. To the chagrin of Cam Kearney, who might have wanted a different call there, and I'd have to say maybe he has a case. It was one of those 50-50 ones.
Yeah, you can already tell this early on, it's going to be a pretty gritty game for both teams.
Both teams, which has 2 team fouls, the referees are letting them play. The Scotts check into the game. Dylan Scott and Bryson Scott. Dylan Scott, a junior, Bryson, a senior. Inbounded to Dylan left wing, up to Bryson. 14 and a half minutes to play in the first half. Here's a catch-and-shoot 3 from Dylan. That one misses left, rebounded by Kearney. Making threes will be a big part of this game for the Haven. Here's Easter, extra pass, Cody, a 3 of his own, off glass and in. Oh, the bank open lay. He put his hands up after the fact as somehow from the right corner he got it off the window.
Friday at 5, right?
Must have been open about 23 extra minutes, wasn't it, as he got it to go. Here's Washington down low. Coleman fakes, double team, no matter, puts it up, no. Rebounded there, grabbed by Howe. That's just great defending from the freshman Josiah Howe. Didn't panic down low on the fake and was able to get a good rebound. Passes to Nelson, his three-pointer. That one is good. Trey Nelson getting it to go from deep. It's a 19-4 Clarion lead, and Mike Nestor wants to talk things over. A 13-2 run over the last 4.5 minutes for the Golden Eagles, who have been nothing but golden to start this game. And you wonder, Josh, what adjustments Lock Haven have to make. It really starts, I feel like, with shooting. Their shooting numbers, definitely not something to brag about early.
Yeah, shooting 2 for 12 on the field. You're going to have to get a couple quick buckets here because they're swarming the ball here.
2 for 12. They have just as many turnovers, Lock Haven, as points. 4 turnovers and 4 points. They trail by 15 early on. They've been held scoreless in the last 2 minutes and 12 seconds. Mike Nestor very, very rarely takes timeouts in the first half, let alone 6 minutes in. That's what he's done here. Washington.
The on-ball pressure here. I apologize. The on-ball pressure here right at the free throw line on the opposite side of the court. They're doing a full court press just like the girls team did in the first game.
And that was a stifling one, as was there from Kendon Peebles, who has come in for the first time, gets called for the reach, and that's his first. Peebles, the only change out of that 32nd for Clarion. Here's Bryson Scott stopping his dribble left wing. Ball tipped, and it will stay Lock Haven possession with 15 to shoot. And you saw the reaction from the Clarion bench. They're fired up at the moment.
Yeah, they're pumped to be here in the Haven.
Bryson will inbound to Eli Washington with 13 to shoot. Washington getting a screen from Coleman, flips it to Coleman, right side for Dylan Scott. Stewart now catch and shoot 3, won't go, rebound out of play, and it'll go the other side of the floor. The Haven now have missed 9 of their last 10.
Just no easy shots here coming from Clarion here. They're defending everything, they're contesting everything, jump shots, mid-range. They can't even get into the paint. Lock Haven can't even get into the paint, so it's going to be a tough game here.
Well, Mike Nestor prompting 2 changes. He's going to take his 2 leading scorers off the floor. He knows something has to change. Adris Ali and Laquan Bird checking in for the first time today. Here's Nelson on the left wing. Just over 13 minutes left in the first half. Passed up top to Trayden Gray, who's come in for the first time. Gray for Peebles. Left wing for Kearney. Kearney against Bryson Scott. Able to get by. Help defense comes, puts it up, and draws the foul. Help defender was Bryson's brother Dylan. It looks like it'll be Dylan Scott. Called for the foul. Well, rather looks like, off the public address announcer, it was actually Bryson Scott that got that one. And instead it'll be free throws for Cam Kearney, who has had a quiet 4 points, but very efficient, 2 of 3 from the field to start. Kearney in the last game against Penn State Du Bois, 28 points, 12 of 16 from the field. All of them were 2-pointers. Despite shooting 59% from 3 this season, he does miss the first. It stays 19-4 in favor of the visitors. The second from the Virginia Beach native, and this time there's a no doubter. 20 points in the first 7 minutes and 7 seconds for Clarion. A 20-4 lead for the Golden Eagles against Lock Haven. Laquan Bird getting the inbound, passes forward against the press to Dylan Scott, and a travel. A travel there from Dylan Scott. He just took a step too many, didn't he? He turned and tried to pass it forward to the open man in Coleman, but a step too many in the process as it's coming back.
Unforced turnover is going to be a key here for Lock Haven as well. You can't. There's no pressure there. There's nobody on him. You gotta be able to control the ball.
Turnovers have been a problem for both teams. They're in the negative, both teams, in terms of the turnover differential this season. Lock Haven in 11th of the PSAC, Clarion in 13th in the conference. And now we get an offensive foul as Kendon Peebles was stepping up for a three. It looked like it was Nelson, or rather, it looks like they called it on someone else, judging by the signage that got that personal foul. It's an offensive foul nonetheless, and the Haven will get it back. That is the second turnover for Clarion in this game. That's 7.5 minutes in. Here's Ali to the left side. A catch-and-shoot three is up. That one's strong. He went to ground, did he? Bryson Scott, no foul called. The Eagles, Golden Eagles, the rebound with Nelson. Nelson left wing for Peebles. Peebles against Bird. Gives it to the left corner. That is for Gray up top. A left dribble drive down low for Crockett. Crockett, oh, the hook shot, and got the foul call out of it. Well, Cam Crockett, another transfer, a sophomore, coming into this game for the first time, just kind of threw it up. Was able to find contact on Dylan Scott, who picks up his first. And it'll be a trip to the line for Crockett.
Third trip here to the line for the Golden Eagles, and Lock Haven doesn't have a single trip to the line, so I think Lock Haven's going to have to get to the line here soon.
Just trying to force something, right? Get some creativity in the attacking front court is key for the Haven, it seems like, as Crockett misses the first. Well, Clarion have been getting free throws, but not necessarily sinking them. They're 2 of 5 to start from the line. A rare blemish in what has been the first 8 minutes or so of this game, as the second one this time gets a friendly bounce, 21-4. Clarion leads. Lock Haven looking for answers. They have had their backs against the wall from the opening tip. Here's Ali on the drive. Ali puts it up. That's a good contested finish from Idris Ali. That is just the second player for Lock Haven to get points. And now Peebles up to Howe. A long-range three. No response. Rebounded by Coleman. And the Haven are trying to establish and turn this into something. Ali, the sixth man on this Bald Eagle team. Up top to Bryson Scott, who throws one up and in turn gets the foul call. Foul called on that occasion from Crockett. It'll be free throws to come here for the Haven when we return. Lock Haven 6, Clarion 21, 11.5 minutes in the first half. You're tuned in to Lock Haven basketball on the Bear Country Sports Network.
At Commonwealth University, we believe an affordable, high-quality education should be accessible to everyone. That's why we've frozen tuition for the past 7 years and are proud to offer generous merit scholarships for students attending our Bloomsburg, Lock Haven, and Mansfield campuses. Apply to Commonwealth University by December 15th for full scholarship consideration. Learn more at commonwealthu.edu.
Destination for Kubota is Daughter Equipment, just south of Mill Hall on
Cutting Edge Country, WQBR, The Bear.
11.5 minutes into this first half, Lock Haven 6, Clarion 21. The offensive onslaught headlining, Josh, this start to this game in favor of the visitors.
Yeah, it looks like they're trying to get Cote the ball there at the high elbow, and even on that right side there, looks like to be his favorable shot.
Cote has 5 points, 1 of 3 with 5. Here's Dylan Scott to the left corner, a catch-and-shoot three. That one blocked. As the ball goes out of play, will say Lock Haven possession. Kendon Peebles that time on the swat. That is the 4th block for Clarion. They average 3.8 blocks a game. That tells you just how formidable they've been down low.
They got more than 3.8 today.
Here's Dylan Scott. Oh, had it just intercepted. He took it from the cookie jars. Thomas on the other end and goes coast to coast for 2. Jeremy Thomas is in takeover mode. That's another steal, and that was just taking the lunchbox. And now we get a hand check foul in transition. That was on Josiah Howe, the freshman, who was called there for the reach in transition. And that's going to be the last foul to give as well for Clarion. The Haven inbounding down low. Or rather down low on the near side, I should say. It's inbounded to Bryson Scott. Scott steps into an 18-footer, missed it all. Rebounded by Thomas. Nelson taking it across. Haven making a couple changes at the next stoppage. 11 minutes left in the first half. Nelson, left dribble drive, kicked out to the left corner. It's with Peebles. Back to Nelson, a swat. That went off the foot of Nelson and turned over. But I'd say, Idris Ali has really, you'd have to say, made an impact coming off the bench. He has a made bucket, was able to cause the turnover there. He's adding something different to the backcourt.
That's the spark you need here if you're Lock Haven. You need something. You got to get some points on the board here.
No, they're trying to turn it into an offensive game as Ali takes it across. Blake Deegan and Isaiah Stewart checking in. Washington still on the bench. Deegan on the right elbow, guarded by the defender, gives it up top to Coleman. Coleman drives, kicked out right corner. Stewart, extra, Laquan Bird for three, and that one missing it all as it comes out of play. They're going to say it was actually partially tipped. It might have been partially deflected by Peebles, who closed it out. And everyone moved backwards, including the shooter, Bird. But it was, they say, a block, and so the Haven will inbound with 11. Inbound to Bird. Guarded by Gray, reset to Deegan with 7. Now Stewart, faking the 3, drives with 5, kicked out Ali, fakes, now a step back 3, good if it goes. It goes! Idris Ali from downtown, he's got 5, it's 23-9 Clarion. That was something for the timeline for Idris Ali, his third made 3 of the season. Thomas on the other end, floats one up, that one no misses. Deegan with the rebound. The Haven are going with a pretty small lineup at the moment with Deegan guarding Thomas. Here's Stewart driving on the opposite end, couldn't get the finish off glass. Nelson picking up the pieces, 3-on-3. And now Nelson right wing, swings it up top to Howe. Howe back to Nelson, faking the 3, tried to pass it, deflected, finds Thomas, kicked out right corner, extra for Nelson, faking the 3, now fires, can't finish. Thomas looking for the rebound, it was tipped by Deegan and picked up by Coleman. Quickly on the other end is Deegan on the left wing, they were looking to move quickly, Ali will reset it. Now Ali's drive, and they call a foul on the pass to Kevin Coleman, and that looked to be on Josiah Howe, the freshman coming off the bench, picking up the personal, and that is going to put Laquan Bird at the line for a 1-and-1. And it changes well for Clarion as a result, 2 changes. Gavin Cote, who, Josh, you highlighted as someone they were really setting up off the ball, he comes back into the game, and for the first time today, Jalen Shippen into the ball game in the backcourt for Clarion. Ali, rather, at the line, the first of the 1-and-1. That one rattles in. Idris Ali now with 6 points in just 4 minutes, and he is claiming potentially more game time here for the Bald Eagles. Should we know the Haven do have a history of having some stellar six men, I guess you could say, coming off the bench. Go back 3 or 4 years ago, Demir Montague was one. Then 2 years ago, it was Justice Schultz, as now we have a violation on the inbound. You see it once in a while, don't you, Josh, with Jeremy Thomas looking to maybe give it to Shippen. Shippen was in the backside ready to inbound. No one wanted the inbound, and the Haven with one of the easier turnovers you'll see.
It's not every day you see that.
Ali, handoff to Coleman, back to Ali. Now into the left corner is Stewart. Stewart behind the back dribble, up to Ali, now on the drive, double team, just throws it up and gets the foul call. No, maybe that's what it takes, isn't it, for Ali? Just get it to the pipe, draw some contact, try to find a way to earn it at the line.
You're going to have to. I mean, it's made a difference in the game. And whenever it was a 20-4, 21-4 game, and now it's 11-23, so 7-point swing.
Idris Ali at the line. It was a shooting foul, so 2 free throws for the Mansfield transfer and Loyal Sock High School graduate. He can't make the first, but he has made the spark in this game. Since he's come on, it's a 6-0 Lock Haven run. Make that a 5-0 run, pardon me. They still do trail, though, by 12 after that spark to start for Clarion. Ali actually misses both. The rebound tipped. It goes to ground. It's swatted to Stewart, who gets it. And now Ali has it up top. Deegan on the left wing with 14 to shoot. Free possession for the Bald Eagles. Deegan had it tipped, and then they call a kicked ball violation. No, just off the knee of Cote as it went out of play. The Haven will get it with 10 to shoot. Just over 9 minutes left to go in this first half. That has gone by fairly quickly, it has to be said. Ali getting the inbound. Gets by Shippen and draws a blocking foul. And once again, we're seeing Idris Ali really take the game by the scruff. This is a very unique lineup. I actually can't remember Mike Nestor going with the 3 backcourt lineup of Ali, Stewart, and Bird before. They're betting their coins at the moment. They're going to the craps table that the guards will make a difference. And while there's still a long way to go in this game for the Haven to get back, there has been a shift in the momentum. Ali made the first, can't make the second. They fight for the rebound, and Ali comes up with it. Back-to-back offensive boards from missed free throws. And the Haven can put it to single digits here. Ali, high screen Coleman, up to Stewart. Kicked out to Bird. Bird down a drive, floats it up, too strong, put back, goes for Coleman. And just like that, it's a 9-point game on a possession that featured 2 offensive rebounds from missed free throws, and Damian Pitts has seen enough. He calls a timeout. And we'll keep it here with 8:44 left to go in the half. Lock Haven still down by a very wide margin, 23-14, but they're in the middle of a 8-0 run over the last 3 minutes of game time, despite Clarion really putting a lot of the starters still on the floor. What has made the difference here, Josh? What has shifted it?
I would have to say Ali coming into the game, and he's a spark plug. He's coming in, he's handling the ball, he's driving the lane, getting to the free throw line, hitting step back jumpers. I mean, he's just and as well the offensive rebounds with the free throws.
Oh, and then a misplayed pass. It's a turnover. Well, Thomas was trying to pass it to Shippen, who dove but couldn't get it. And a turnover here for Clarion, who have been held scoreless in the last 3 minutes. Deegan inbounds to Ali, to Stewart. Stewart giving a seam to the rack, puts it up, blocked away, but a foul. A foul called on Easter, who met Stewart at the apex. There was a contact there, but certainly a lot of the ball. As Stewart, grimacing a bit after the fact, will come to the line for 2. Well, Isaiah Stewart, and at it, starting his 38th straight game for the Bald Eagles. We were just having that conversation about notable 6th man for the Bald Eagles 2 years ago. Yeah, Justice Schultz and Isaiah Stewart, the first 2 off the bench for at the time was Amir Montague and Jay Davis. And Stewart, he's been a real servant to the program, has been terrific, the senior. Has a long way to go for 1,000 points, but could potentially contend based off of what he can do towards the tail end of the season. He makes the second, so 16-23. Lock Haven still trails, but might be back in it. Shippen to Cote. Bounce pass to the left elbow for Thomas against Coleman. Thomas will hand it off to Cote against Stewart on the Euro step, puts it up and draws the foul. Well, you brought it up, didn't you? Setting up Cote off ball, the page transfer, getting the handoff, and was able to find contact as he goes to the line. And if you want to talk about another change as well, as they called the foul on Stewart, his first. The difference as well is Kevin Coleman coming into the game guarding Jeremy Thomas. Thomas hasn't been as dominant. Now, look, 7 points, 2 steals, 3 blocks. He is dominant this half. But Coleman has stifled it a little bit. As Cote is able to make both, and it's back to a 9-point game. 25-16, just over 8 minutes to go in the first half. Ali to Stewart. Oh, no look for Coleman, who takes an extra dribble and gets the reverse to fall. And that was laced by Stewart.
That was a really good pass.
Thomas on the right wing for Kearney. Kearney falls away against Deegan and finishes. That is something off the top shelf from Cam Kearney. Always consistent within 18 feet. He's up to 5. Rather 7 points now for Kearney after that made deuce. 18-27, the Haven trail. Here's Ali, drives, double team, defense comes. The pass was tipped and nearly got in. They fight for the rebound. Bird comes up with it, but he stepped out of play. It'll be Clarion possession. Well, we have seen a couple fallacies in this game. That would have been the best, as a deflected pass nearly found the rim. It'll be Clarion possession with the visitors up 27-18, 7.5 minutes left in the first half. You're tuned in to Lock Haven Basketball on the Bear Country Sports Network.
The PSAC Digital Network is on the cutting edge of live event production and streaming. Every season, the PSAC Digital Network features nearly 2,000 contests and over 1 million unique viewers, and over 26 million minutes watched of thrilling PSAC competition, including 22 PSAC championship tournaments and events. Since its beginning in the 2017-18 season, the PSAC Digital Network has continued to grow its viewership and improve its quality every year in order to capture exciting highlights, captivating moments, and the championship experience that only the PSAC can offer. All 17 PSAC member institutions have complete cost-free online portals that makes tuning in to your favorite teams just one click away. Find it all on the web at PSACSportsDigitalNetwork.com.
99.9 FM.
7.5 minutes left to go in the first half. It seemed like it could have gotten very ugly very quickly, but a 6-0 run for the Haven has cut the deficit to as little as 7. They trail by 9 currently with Clarion getting possession. Jalen Shippen playing the point for the Golden Eagles. Shippen across the timeline against Ali. Bounce pass forward for Cote. And back on the left wing for Easter. Back to the left slot for Thomas against the defender Coleman. A handoff to Shippen with 14 to shoot. Back to the right slot for Kearney against Deegan. Kearney, some contact. He goes to the ground, no foul. Tries to pass it, and Ali gets the interception. A 5-on-4 if they're quick enough. Here's Deegan. Left wing will hold up and gives it to Coleman left corner against Cody. That's a size mismatch. Deegan posting up. Help defense comes, and it was Kearney getting an excellent tip as Cody comes up with it. And quickly on the other end is Thomas in the right corner. Thomas back up top. That pass deflected, and Deegan gets a steal. Back for Coleman. Sloppy play, and his pass off the head of Stewart and finds Ali. What a weird first half this has been, as Ali has it up top with 20 to shoot. Ali slowing it down a bit. Gives it to Stewart on the left wing. Drives down low, floats one up, and gets it to go. A smooth finish for Isaiah Stewart. He's got 8, and the lead down to 7. They trailed the Haven by 17 points at one point in the game. Here's Easter, drives baseline, puts it up, and just misses. There's a lid on the cylinder for Clarion. They fight for the rebound. Humanity on the floor, and it looks like they'll call a jump ball. There are about 4 dudes on the floor fighting for it. You can talk about a lot of things. You can't talk about the effort. Both teams going at it here.
I'll say this Lock Haven team now is a completely different team they were the first 4 minutes of this game.
And this is always, for me personally, a unique lineup. You got Washington and Ali, 2-point guards that are now in the game. Washington off the bench. Ali has helped lead this team in it. And within striking distance, I wonder who's going to play the point. Who's going to get the keys and drive the bus? An inbound to Thomas, right wing. Up top to Easter with 17 to shoot. Pass right side, Cody. Hand in his face, 3. In and out. Rebound tipped to Coleman, who gets the board. Coleman now his 4th rebound of the half. And now Ali. Crossover on the defender. Help defense comes. He gives it to the left side. Stewart. NBA range. That one misses strong. Rebounded by Cody. Cote rather with the board, and now Nelson across. Here's Kearney, right wing. Looking to that left side, dribbling with the left hand, now crossing over on Deegan, steps into a right elbow, Jay just misses. And Ali the rebound. Now a lot of ball movement there for Clarion. Now scoreless in the last 2 minutes. Here's Stewart. Good crossover from Stewart, and the offhand layup is good. Isaiah Stewart trying to get an and one mixtape in this game with a beautiful offhanded finish. He is the first in double figures, and it's a 5-point game. Nelson. Bounce pass is stolen by Ali. Idris Ali to the rack for 2. And it's just like that, a 3-point game. How in the world is it a one-possession game? They trailed by 17 in the first. And now Easter on the right elbow, left alone for a long 2, and that one rattles in. That'll stop the run as Justice Easter was able to get the open finish, 29-24. Washington across against Nelson. Over to Stewart on the right wing. A behind-the-back dribble. Stewart, oh no! Oh yeah! He's gone nuclear in the first half. Isaiah Stewart's got 12. It's back to a 3-point game. Had the defender slipping and sliding like he's on the ice rink. And now Nelson, bounce pass left side to Cote. Up top, it's Kearney on the drive. Kearney on the low block, throws one up and in. Oh, that's a tough finish by Cam Kearney. He's averaging 22 a game for a reason. That was decisive. And now Stewart left wing, he's the hot hand. Back to Ali, up to Deegan. Deegan for three. That one won't fall. Rebounded by Thomas. A lot of contact, but the referees have kept the whistles in the pocket. Here's Nelson on the left wing against Washington. Stops right elbow, gives it to the left side. Cote fakes a three, drive, 16-footer. No, rebounded by Deegan. The Haven have made 3 of their last 4 field goal attempts from 2. Here's Washington. Handoff, Ali faking the 3 against Thomas. That's a big mismatch. Washington gets it instead. Stops right elbow. Looking for support. Will find it in Deegan with 15 to shoot. Ali, he's calling for an isolation. Ali into a 3. That one just misses. That looked good from my view. Rebounded by Kearney. They go to Nelson. And now Easter against Deegan. Easter on the low block. Stops the dribble. Passes opposite for Thomas. Reverse finish. That one doesn't go. Coleman might have gotten a piece. He gets the rebound. And now Washington with just over 3 minutes to go in the half. It's a 5-point game. Oh, a good spin from Washington. Handoff for Stewart, who doesn't get the roll. And the rebound will be taken by Easter in the corner. That one should have been in. And Nelson trying to just slow things down. He takes it across. Gives it to Kearney, left elbow on the high block. Turnaround, Jay is true. I tell you what, Cam Kearney from the high block in, he just can't miss.
Seems to be favorable in those highly contested situations. It's his 3rd highly contested bucket of the game.
11 points on 5 of 7 shooting for the Virginia Beach native. Here's Washington with 2.5 minutes to go in the half. All of a sudden, the Clarion still starting to mount that lead again. Here's Washington. That's a contested 2. Won't go. Rebounded by Kearney, the junior. Kearney really providing a response here for the visitors. Here's Thomas driving down low and gets the foul call. A lot of contact as Thomas went to the bucket, just trying to muscle his way down there. He gets the foul, and it'll be free throws for Thomas when we return. A back-and-forth affair all of a sudden. Clarion 33, Lock Haven 26. You're tuned in to Lock Haven basketball on the Bear Country Sports Network.
Sports fans, we cheer on our favorite teams at fields, gyms, arenas, and stadiums. But have you ever wondered what it's like to be a referee? Verbal abuse from fans, parents, and coaches is the #1 reason why many referees are walking away. And they're not being replaced quickly enough by new ones. So put yourself in the official shoes, act with respect, and be officially human.
Guaranteed. Bear Country 99.9 FM.
Clarion 33, Lock Haven 26. Just over 2 minutes to go in the first half. Clarion led 23-6 to start the game, Josh, but the Bald Eagles have fought back, and it's been a pace that is just incredible for both teams.
Yeah, an incredible pace for sure. The guards, Washington and Ali are really putting forth a good effort here for the Haven and giving them a chance in this ball game.
Ali with 10 points, Washington 3 assists in the first half. Thomas at the line for 2. He rattles home the first. Well, this won't surprise you, of course. Jeremy Thomas, double digits in 3 of his 4 games in which he has played, the majority of which. Of course, one of those games was against Lake Erie, in which he came out after a minute due to an injury. He misses the second. The rebound was tipped down initially by Kendon Peebles, who has come in. Peebles has made an impact off the bench. He comes in to make a difference. The Haven did come up with it in the end. Here's Washington left wing. Bounce pass to Stewart. Stewart, the hot hand in the first half, gives it to Ali on the right corner with 15 to shoot. Ali trying to split the double, puts it up, kicks it out instead to Deegan on the left wing. Deegan now on the drive himself. Euro step out to Stewart. Alone for 3. In and out. A rebound, Coleman, who gets the putback finish. Well, Kevin Coleman, the offensive board, he's got 6. And it's a 6-point game with 90 seconds left in the half. Kearney on the left wing against Deegan. A lot of space on that left side. He goes up on Deegan. Help defense comes, and a travel. I'll be honest, I did not see a travel there. It might have been a double dribble in the end as Kearney took a step too many. And a turnover for Clarion, as now both teams with nine turnovers in this first half. Washington across the timeline. The Haven overall against Clarion 4-3 when taking them on at home. It's a good handoff for Stewart, and Isaiah Stewart now with 14 points in the first half. 34-30. Clarion has led the entire time. They led by as many as 17. It's down to 4 with a minute to go in the first half. Howe up to Kearney on the left wing for Nelson. Nelson had the double team, keeps his dribble on the left wing, gives it up top to Kearney with 10. Kearney driving on Stewart. That's a mismatch. Kearney passes right wing for Howe with 6. Howe, entry pass for Peebles. Peebles falls away, can't finish. Rebound Kearney. That one, though, tipped away by Deegan, who contested, and Ali comes up with it. Washington, other end. Washington, hop step, gives it. Stewart, extra for Deegan. That's a tight angle, but he gets the 2. His right foot was a millimeter from the baseline, about 18 feet away, but he pinpointed the cylinder. And now the shot clock turned off, and Clarion up by 2 will hold for the final shot of the first half at least. It's Nelson. Back to Bucket on the left wing with 10. Washington, the defender. Here's Nelson on the drive. Contact and an offensive foul. Well, Eli Washington, despite not scoring in the first half, has been able to implement himself. That is a good charge drawn. And with less than 5 seconds remaining in the half, the Haven can tie or take the lead even. Deegan inbounds to Washington with 4.5 seconds, with 4, with 3, with 2. Washington to the three-point line, kicked out to Coleman, and the time runs out. Just a little too much time on the dribble before the kick out. And that is how an emphatic first half of action ends at the Fieldhouse. This game was a blowout. It should have been a blowout. But Lock Haven going from right to left in white, Clarion left to right in blue. Washington, Stewart, Deegan, Nouse, and Springer, the 5 for the Haven as the second half is underway. It's Nouse with it on the left wing. Bounce pass to Deegan and now Stewart. Entry for Springer, one-on-one. Springer, hook shot is up. That one won't fall. Rebounded by Thomas. It is Thomas, Nelson, Cote, as well as Easter and Kearney, the 5 for Clarion. So all 10 starters who started this game, well, they're back on the lineup here. It's Easter. Entry pass Thomas. Thomas puts it up through contact and gets it to go. Springer went down, wanted a foul. None were called, and Clarion goes up by 4. And here's Washington to the right wing for Mike Nouse. Nouse back to the right side for Deegan. Entry for Springer. Springer kick to the left wing. Washington catch and shoot. That one misses for 3. Rebound tipped. They go to ground floor. Oh, heavy contact. Look out as Springer landed on top of Kearney. And they'll call it, I believe, was a jump ball. It is, in fact, a jump ball. Clarion getting possession. Kearney looks to be okay. Springer, that's a very tall human being to land on top of you.
Glad everybody there in that collision's okay.
Well, both teams know that this game is very much up for grabs and will look to take advantage here. Bit of a stoppage as the floor gets dried off. Good crowd on hand here at the Fieldhouse. Members of the Lock Haven field hockey team are here for the women's game. A couple more athletic organizations and programs, I should say, in for this one. As here's Thomas, right elbow, gives her right wing. Cody, a catch and shoot 3. That one off the nose. Rebounded by Deegan, and now Stewart. Stewart lobbing it up for Nouse, catches it under the cylinder, has to dribble it out. And reset to Washington. Just past a minute gone in the second half. The Haven 32, Clarion 36. Stewart with it up top, back to Washington. Now Deegan right wing, up to Stewart with 13. Over to the left slot is Washington, guarded by Nelson. Washington gets a screen, drives with the right, stops low block, gives a right corner, three-pointer from Deegan. That one misses. Offensive rebound, Stewart. That is a 6-foot tall going up against a 6'5 Thomas and winning out for the deuce. Back to a 2-point game. Here's Thomas driving on Springer, momentarily lost. Oh, splits the double, and the finger roll finish was there. Well, Thomas pulling the rabbit out of the hat On that occasion, the forward up to 12, or rather 10 points. Here's Stewart now right wing. Up to Naus. Catch and shoot three from Naus. Responds! Mike Naus getting it to go from deep. That's his first made three in 3 games over the course of 9 attempts. It makes it a 1-point game. Nelson to the left corner. Thomas driving on Springer. Thomas bounced pass to Kearney, doubled. Kearney puts it up, swatted away by Deegan. And now Washington with it across. They can lead with a field goal. Stewart fakes out to Naus, driving down low out to Deegan. Deegan for the lead. That one won't go. Rebounded there from the forward Kearney. And now Nelson with it on the right wing. Flip to Cote. Baseline drive. Cody puts it up and just misses. Offensive rebound. Kearney who got the putback finish. And now what about Naus? With it now on the right wing for the Haven. 17 minutes left to play. Stewart thought about the step back. Gives it to Deegan. And now it's Washington on the drive. Down low. Up to Springer from the key. To the corner. Stewart. Stewart now driving, floats it up, blocked away by Thomas. That's his 3rd rejection. And Kearney on the other end, driving on Deegan. Kearney, Euro step, puts it up, too strong. Put back Thomas, no. He gets his own rebound, and the hook shot draws the foul. Oh, the second chance opportunities befitting Clarion currently. With a pair of offensive boards from Jeremy Thomas prompting a trip to the line. It should be noted, he's moving a bit gingerly after taking some contact. Looks to be okay, will go to the line. So Jeremy Thomas II is back at the free throw line. He is 2 of 4 from the charity stripe in this game. He has made 2 of his last 3. That one, just misses off the window. And now we see a quick change, just 3.5 minutes in. It's Kevin Coleman, the human microwave, coming in to make a difference down low. The second attempt from Thomas, this to make it a 2-possession game. And he's unable to do so. An empty trip to the line for Thomas. He has 2 of 6 from the line. 40-37, Clarion leads. Lock Haven with possession. 16.5 minutes to play. Washington. Coleman back to Washington. And back up top to Coleman with 16. To Stewart, left wing. 3-pointers up. And hits! 19 points for Isaiah Stewart. And this thing is tied. Nelson on the opposite end trying a quick response. Bounce pass to Cote. Easter with it. Handoff to Nelson. On the left elbow, Nelson back to Bucket. Bounce pass right corner for Kearney with 11. Kearney on the drive. Help defense. It's swatted in the air. Picked up by Deegan. Stewart one-on-one on the drive. Floater for the lead. Puts it in! The Bald Eagles, who trailed by 17, have their first lead of the night. 42-20, it's Kearney. For Thomas, handoff to Nelson. Nelson dribbling with the right, gets the screen, looking for the low block pass, finds him, and Kearney gets the tough finish. And that is something special from Cam Kearney, the ability to get space. Quick pass to Stewart. Stewart's lob blocked, put back Coleman, and they retake the lead, 44-42. It's a heavy metal fight at the Fieldhouse. Cote getting the screen, stops left elbow, looking for support, resets it to Nelson with 18 to shoot. Nelson, right dribble drive, spins from Naus, gets it to Kearney down low. Kearney reverses and a travel. And Damian Pitts right now, that entire possession, had his hands on his head. He can't believe it. I'm not sure Lock Haven can believe it. They don't know where to look. Clarion doesn't know where to hide as they have a 17-point lead, cut all the way down, and with 15 minutes left to play, the Haven lead by 2. You're tuned in to Lock Haven basketball on the Bear Country Sports Network.
Stop paying too much for...
this game, in fact, to cut the disadvantage.
I would say Stewart hitting jumpers. Stewart hit his jumpers. Now's hit a 3 there as well. And then also Coleman coming in, and they're not even looking Thomas's way now on that offensive side for the Golden Eagles.
Deegan to inbound from the backcourt with 15 minutes to play. Inbounds to Stewart, 44-42. Stewart across the timeline will hand it off to Washington, and now you see that pairing of Washington and Stewart connect. It's a behind-the-back pass to Deegan with 16. Deegan looking for the entry. It was last touched off of Cote. That would have been out of play. It really should have been out of play. Cote, though, touched it last, and it'll be Lock Haven possession with 13 to shoot. Bald Eagles only 5-8 versus Clarion of all time. The first time they played Clarion, they lost 111-38. We thought we could have potentially seen a score like that in the first 5 minutes. Instead, they now lead the Haven as Coleman had his attempt rejected as he was going up by Kearney. It'll be 5 to shoot for the Haven down low. Washington to inbound. And that was swatted by Cody. They'll inbound again with 5 to shoot. The last time these two teams played, it was a dramatic one. The start of this year, January of last season, it was a 66-65 Lock Haven win. Justice Schultz had 17 points. Colin Jones 15 in the win. A series that has started back in 2011. Clarence won the first 5 meetings. Lock Haven has won 5 of the last 8 as a 2-pointer is good from Kevin Coleman. Coleman just stepping into a 2 as the shot clock expires. And now Nelson gives it up top to Kearney. To the left wing, it's Howe who's come off the bench. Oh, a bit of a contact there. No travel call. They go to ground, and they say that Damian Pitts got the timeout going. And some extracurriculars. Look out. Howe and Coleman have to be separated. And you were wondering when the frustration was starting to show. There was a little bit after the fact. It might have been something physical. It doesn't look like the referees will go to the monitor. They seem to have had it covered. So the timeout taken with 14 minutes and 16 seconds left. And we'll take it to a media timeout, 46-42. You're tuned into Lock Haven Basketball on the Bear Country Sports Network.
More than 7,500 student athletes working to become champions in the league's 23 championship sports. 17 member campuses, educating more than 110,000 students, with an alumni base that tops the 1 million mark. The Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference making the PSAC
.9 FM.
So 14 minutes and 16 seconds left to go in this contest. The Bald Eagles leading 46-42 against Clarion. And the inbound on the far side will be taken by Justice Easter. He inbounds it to Nelson. The Golden Eagles down 4. Easter on the drive. Stutter steps, gives it left wing. Catch and shoot 3. Missed it short. Rebounded by Nouse. They go quick. Oh, what a pass. Oh, it could have been an excellent pass. Deegan just trying to keep it in play and turns it over as Howe got the loose ball. Howe back to Nelson. It's a night at the racetrack. Here's Howe. Handoff. Kearney lost it. Out of play. Lock Haven possession. And another Clarion turnover. That's their 14th. Lock Haven, it should be noted, have just 1 turnover, if my memory is correct, over the last 6 minutes of game time in the second half.
Yes, as well, and I think Lock Haven's actually running the fast break really well. I mean, outside of that last possession, but they've been running the fast break really well this second half as well.
Washington across the timeline, guarded by Nelson. Washington scoreless, it should be noted, in this game. Gives it to Stewart, almost an offensive foul. Right wing, Nouse, catch and shoot 3, in and out. Rebounded by Easter. Nouse had that made 3 that started the second half run. Nelson to Easter up top. Easter hands off to Howe left wing. Back in the handoff for Easter with 20 to shoot. Easter passes up top to Kearney to the right wing for Howe. And now the right corner, Nelson. Nelson lost it, and it's another turnover. Back-to-back turnovers now for Clarion, who have been held scoreless in the last 2 minutes of game time. And what's weird is they're still efficient from the field. They're shooting 4 of 10, but the turnovers have made a difference. And, well, this could be concerning. Justice Easter is slow to move on the floor. He wants to stay in the game. It looked like he could barely walk, but he's going to try to continue. This could be dangerous, Josh. You love the competitiveness of Nelson to want to stay in this game.
Yeah, it's a long season, but he wants to stay in, so I guess he's okay.
Oh, a good handoff. Count it! And the foul, Kevin Coleman with an emphatic finish down low. He'll go to the line for one more, and the Haven lead by 6 with a free throw to go.
His second team's first.
We are coming and witnessing a historic potential comeback here at the Fieldhouse. With still 13 minutes left to play, the Haven trailed, as mentioned, by 17 points, 23-6. They now lead by 6 as the N1 isn't converted. Howe the rebound. And they give it to the other end for Jalen Shippen. Up top to Howe. Back to the left wing, now a three-pointer from Howe. That one doesn't fall. Rebound, contact, and a foul. That's going to be on Traden Gray, I believe. Yes, it will be on Traden Gray. Josiah Howe went to ground on that three-point attempt. He is contesting a foul. It was not called, and the Haven have it. Just 3 team fouls in the first 7 minutes and 4 seconds of this second half. 2 for the visitors, 1 for Lock Haven. Washington with it on the right wing. Stops his dribble, bounce pass to Deegan, who she couldn't get the handoff. It's turned over. Miscommunication. It's Peebles. Peebles has come off. Hands it off to Shippen up top. Back to Peebles now for 3. That one won't go. The ball out of play. A shout of frustration for Peebles as Lock Haven gets it back. Well, Clarion were 7-1 and 2-0 in conference play, defeating Mansfield and Bloomsburg coming into this contest. Lock Haven 3-5. They have lost by double digits in both of their conference matches. But this is the PSAC. Any team can beat anybody. And we're seeing it here this evening. Now, bounce pass to Deegan. Left wing for Stewart. Down low for Coleman. Coleman spinning away from the defender. Kicked out to Nouse. Extra. Deegan, 3. That one left short. Rebounded by Shippen. And the junior will take it across. There has been a slightly different struggle for Clarion, who are undefeated at home, just 2-1 on the road this season. Oh, good pass, though. Right corner, Peebles, 3. That one missed it all. The rebound taken by Coleman. Now over 3 minutes scoreless for Clarion. And Stewart will slow it down. There's so much time left to go. It should be noted, but this has been astonishing. Washington right elbow, up to Coleman. Coleman now for 3. Gets it to go! Kevin Coleman with 15 points and 10 rebounds off the bench. He's clapping his hands. He's feeling himself here. Here's Easter now to Peebles, puts it up too strong, rebounded by Deegan. And now Washington across the timeline, a 3-on-3. No look, puts it up and gets the finish. Oh, that's something out of the bottom of the bag from Eli Washington. What a way to get your first points. It's a 9-point lead for the Haven, and Damian Pitts has seen enough. He calls time. And that is where we'll go to our under 12 timeout. And an astonishing feat here. It's now an 11-point lead for the Bald Eagles, 53-42. You're tuned in to Lock Haven basketball on the Bear Country Sports Network.
Your destination.
Cutting Edge Country, WQBR, The Bear.
At the under 12 timeout, 11 minutes and 20 seconds left in this one. Lock Haven 53, Clarion 42. Hey, by the way, this game started with the Bald Eagles down 23-6. They have outscored Clarion 21-8. How about that? 23-6 for Clarion to start the first half, 21-8 for Lock Haven to start the second half. And the Bald Eagles are up 11.
Tale of two halves, as they say.
Tale of two cities, tale of two halves, however you call it. You've got the Golden Eagles down by 11 with possessions. Here's Thomas with the left wing in dribble against Coleman. Stops on the left elbow, up top to Shippen. Shippen now driving on the low block and just tries to get it out off of a Lock Haven player. Before that, though, they call a blocking foul. It's going to be on Isaiah Stewart. That's just the second team foul of the half for Lock Haven.
Thought that was close to a carry there.
Well, that's what Isaiah Stewart is contesting, isn't it? But they call the blocking foul. It's also the third on Stewart. So of the 7 personal fouls called in this game, 3 have been in Stewart, 3 have been on Gabe Springer. An inbound left wing to Gray. Up to the right wing now is Shippen with 16 to shoot. Shippen looking for that entry pass, but good defending, prompting him to dribble. Stops on the left elbow. Passes down low to Thomas. Thomas floats one up and gets the finish off the high glass. It's been one of those games, Josh. Sometimes the words just come ahead of you.
A lot of good things I'm seeing with Lock Haven, the guards, and they're denying the ball really well.
Dylan Scott has come into the game as well as Bryson Scott out of that media timeout. They're both in play here. Washington and Ali and Coleman, the other 3. Here's Coleman with it up top. Bounce pass to Washington on the left wing, 14 to shoot. Washington kicked out to Dylan Scott, right corner 3, left it short. Rebounded there by Thomas. Thomas across and now for Shippen. Into the right corner is Gray. Gray dribbles to the right wing and now left wing pass to Howe. Howe to the left corner. That looks to be Peebles. Rather, it's Kearney. Back to the left side, and now an entry pass dunker spot for Thomas with 13. Thomas against Coleman. Thomas wins out on that battle, able to just back his body up on Coleman and get the finish to go. A couple buckets in a row all of a sudden for Clarion. They trail by 7. Not out of the woods yet. Here's Lock Haven. Here's Washington. Bounce pass to Coleman, back to Washington, right wing. Washington guarded by Kearney, and then Coleman with 14 to shoot. Coleman, bounce pass to Ali, stolen away by Howe. They go quickly to Thomas. Thomas to the rack, and he stuffs it home. A big, emphatic slamma-jamma from Thomas. It's a 6-0 run for Clarion, and Mike Nestor calls time. A big 6-0 run for the Golden Eagles have steadied the ship in this game. Just a 30-second timeout, Josh, so we'll keep it here. And it seems like it's so simple, isn't it? Jeremy Thomas starts getting going. This team starts getting going.
Yeah, I mean, down there he started, came back out from that media timeout to low post plays, both with Thomas. 2 easy layups for him there, and then the fast break, the steal, and the dunk.
Both teams bringing the energy. This is Clarion's first game in 10 days. It's Lock Haven's first game in 11 days. These 2 teams are rested up and ready for a slugfest. It reminds me at this point of a heavyweight match that's in the championship rounds when you've got these 2 boxers battling it out on the floor. It's a 53-48 lead, 9.5 minutes left to play. Washington to Dylan Scott, right wing. 13 against 13 with Howe defending. Passed up top to Coleman, has to get into the front court and does so to Washington with 17. Washington to the left corner, that is to Bryson Scott, back to Washington with 13, and now a hand check foul. Hand check called there on Cam Kearney, and maybe something of note, Kearney, that is his second foul. And one thing I haven't noticed, Kearney, 6 turnovers in this game. That, of course, wasn't a turnover. He was playing defense, but 6 turnovers, that's a big one. Bryson Scott inbounding to Eli with a fresh 20. Eli drives, kicked out right wing. Adris Ali, 3, gets it to go. Adris Ali from downtown. The sharpshooter connects, and it's an 8-point game.
That is exactly what Lock Haven needs to do, is drive to the rack, let those help defenders come in and crash, and allow the wide open 3 there for Ali.
13 points off the bench for the Mansfield transfer. Here's Shippen, getting by the first defender. Extra pass, tipped by Dylan Scott, and stolen by Washington. Washington, a 1-on-3. Oh, why not? Takes it himself and just misses on the finish, but they call a foul. That's going to be on Clarion. A foul on Clarion in what was a 3-on-none, it seemed. Bryson Scott came in for the rebound, found some sort of contact, and went down. And we do have a good sight to see. Trey Nelson, who had to walk off the floor with what looked like an apparent injury, back on the floor, so he looks to be okay. That's a good sight to see as Thomas picks up his second. Another player for Clarion with 2 fouls. Washington to inbound. Washington inbound down low to Ali. It was tipped to the left wing, but he comes up with it. And now we're going to get a stoppage in play. A stoppage in play. The referee on the near side blew the whistle. He is going to come now to the far side where the scorer's table is and explain the happenings here.
I think it might have been the shot clock.
Maybe it should have been down to, if I remember correctly, I'm going to say they call it a loose ball foul, so it should have been 20 on the shot clock. So that being reset to 17. Good call.
Yes.
Of course, our color commentator Josh Nichols always on the case. Here's Bryson Scott to inbound to Washington left wing against Kearney with 15 to shoot. Washington drives, kick to the right corner. Ali faking the 3, drives baseline, crossover. Ali back to Bryson with 7 to shoot. Bryson, to his brother Dylan down low. An excellent pass. Dylan puts it up. That one blocked away by Thomas. Another rejection from Thomas. That's his 6th block. And now Nelson to the left side. A bit of a wayward dribble from Kearney, and they get a foul call. That might have been on Dylan Scott, who might have tried to poke the ball loose from behind. It is the 2nd foul on Dylan Scott and the team's 3rd. Neither team in the bonus with just over 8 minutes to play. Trey Nelson to inbound in an 8-point game, the Haven lead. Nelson inbound to Thomas and a turnover. He just couldn't get the reception. And that was how the run started, didn't it? Where you had just these bizarre mistakes by Clarion, unforced errors. That was another one. Here's Washington up top. Just over 8 minutes to play at the Fieldhouse. Haven trying to do a sweep of Clarion here. Washington, crosses over. Had the defender on skates, but stopped his dribble and turned it over. Throws it to Nelson. Nelson the other end, 2-on-3. Gives it left corner, faking the 3 is Cote. Reset up top, and now Nelson closed down 3 off the nose. Rebounded by Washington. Clarion shooting just 18% from 3, and now it's going the other way.
I think they missed the foul there. Washington got hit in the face there by 4.
Yeah, that was Trey Nelson who had closed down Washington. There was contact, no foul, ball out of play, and it'll be Clarion possession when we return. Lock Haven 56, Clarion 48 on the Bear Country Sports Network.
Always supporting the now is the time.
Bear Country 99.9 FM.
7:43 left to go here at the Fieldhouse. Lock Haven 56, Clarion 48. With Clarion inbounding left to right, it is Cote, Nelson, with Kearney, Howe, and Thomas, the 5 on the floor. Thomas hands off to Howe on the left wing against Dylan Scott. 20 to shoot. Passed up top. That's the Nelson. Thomas claps the basketball, gets to work. Post move play. That one doesn't fall. Coleman winning that one. Had a tip, though. Thomas comes up with it and gets the finish and the foul. That is a massive swing in favor of Clarion. It looked like it was Kearney that got the initial tip. Thomas picked it up. Coleman was trying to foul, and Thomas was able to fight through for the finish. First points in just over 90 seconds for Clarion, and with the made free throw, if they make the free throw, it'd be a 5-point game, 56-50. Just the first foul on Coleman, a rare miscue for the Wheeling transfer. Thomas with the and one attempt. That one doesn't fall. He has missed 3 straight free throws. And Ali will take it across. Adris Ali, Isaiah Stewart, Dylan Scott, Bryson Scott, Kevin Coleman, the 5. Coleman hands off back to Ali on the right wing with 17 to shoot. Just over 7 minutes left at the field house. Pass up top to Stewart. Stewart, top of the key, 2. That one rattles out. Rebounded there by Howe. Howe and Coleman both fighting against one another for that one. Here's Cody. Oh, long ranger up. That one left short. Coleman this time getting the board. Ali taking it quickly. He will have to pull up. He doesn't have the numbers. Ali gets it right wing. Keeps the dribble going up top. Feeds it to Dylan Scott. Back up top to Stewart with 17 to shoot. Stewart gets a high screen, looking to roll it to Coleman. He jumped up, having to feed it. Coleman to ground. Oh, good pass. Dylan Scott now for 3. Puts it in! Oh, baby, what a shot! It was Coleman that made the pass, laying on his back, and Dylan Scott with the punishing triple.
That is something you see out of a video game.
Something out of NBA Street, maybe. Here's Kearney. Driving right elbow, stops the dribble. Has the backdoor Nelson. Nelson down low. Kick down left corner for 3. No response from Howe. Rebounded by Dylan Scott. And across the timeline goes Ali. Dylan Scott shooting 21% from 3. That was his biggest 3 of the season, no doubt. Ali with it on the left wing, gets a double screen, dribbles left, feeds it to Dylan on the left side with 12. Dylan thought about the step back, bounce pass to Coleman on the left elbow. Now Stewart right wing with 8. Stewart behind the back, trying to set up a dribble, gives it Coleman, long ranger at the horn. That one won't fall, misses right, rebounded Kearney. 9-point game, 5.5 minutes left. Nelson left wing. Lock Haven, it should be noted, leading. Kearney up top, has the defender jumping, takes it to the rack and gets the finish. There was a lot of contact there, as Kearney thought he was fouled, and he looks to be sluggish. It's a 5-on-4 as Kearney gets back. Dylan now left wing. Gives it to Ali up top. And now they'll slow it down. Idris gives it to Isaiah Stewart with 16 to shoot. Idris rather. Idris now on that left wing, gets the high screen, roll man helps, and a foul. It's going to be on Josiah Howe, who closed down. It was good defending it, I have to say, for Howe. Just a little too much contact.
Yeah.
That's the 5th team foul. Neither team in the bonus with 5 minutes left to play. 2 changes for Clarion. Justice Easter in the game, as well as the return, I believe, of Nelson. And for the Haven, Gabe Springer in for Coleman. Here's Stewart on the left wing, getting a double screen, goes to his right side, stops the dribble, flips to Dylan Scott. Scott now stops mid-range and turns it over. Intercepted by Nelson, 2-on-1. Thomas back to Nelson, open layup is good. And just like that, it's back to a 5-point game. The transition buckets have made the difference for Clarion, who despite missing 11 of their last 12 threes, have found a way to get back in this with points in the paint. Springer for Ali. Stopping his dribble left wing, requires support. Has to give it away and does so to Dylan Scott. Scott now on the drive, stops on a dime, turnaround, Jay misses. Rebound, fall 4 comes out of play, and it'll be Clarion possession off the knee of Stewart. And the Haven just trying to survive with these minutes without Kevin Coleman, who requires a break. It seems like he's going to come back into the game, my prediction, past the under 4 media timeout. In the meantime, they'll have to go without him, as Blake Deegan comes into the game along with Eli Washington. 4.5 minutes left. Clarion down 5, who led by as many as 17. The Haven with the advantage here. Howe up top to Kearney. Left wing for Nelson with 18 to shoot. Nelson getting a high screen left, goes opposite side, now reverses to the left side on the left wing, still with it. Dribbling with his right hand, now stops, gives it down low, and a check foul that I believe will be called on Springer. If it is on Springer, I believe that's his 4th.
Foul committed by Lockhaven, number
Yes.
30, Springer, his 4th, team's 5th.
Is in fact the 4th foul. As the first player with 4 fouls, he will stay in. A fresh 20 as Clarion inbounds under the bucket. Gives it to Thomas, left wing, up top to Howe, right side for Nelson with 16. Nelson. Up top pass to Easter on the left wing. Entry for Thomas in the dunker spot. Gives it right side for Nelson. Fakes the 3, drives. Oh, good stutter step dribble. Off glass lay-in is no good. It reverts to the perimeter where Howe has it. Howe gives a left corner for Nelson with 16. Entry pass again for Thomas against Springer. Up top to Howe. Back to Thomas and Springer. Puts it up on the shot attempt. No putback. Doesn't go. And they call a foul, as initially it looked like a putback, but stuttering and hesitating was Easter. We'll see what the foul is on, I believe. Well, you know what? Call that a bit of a hook for cliffhanger, I should say. for when the under 4 media timeout concludes. 3.5 minutes left. Lock Haven 59, Clarion 54 on the Bear Country Sports Network.
Welcome to Staples.
Help! My family's in for the...
FM.
59-54, 3.5 minutes left to go in this contest. The Bald Eagles up, trying to get what would be their first conference win of the season and what could be potentially back-to-back wins in total. As Nelson will inbound on the baseline. No changes for Clarion. Out of the inbound, they give it to Thomas up top. Hand off to Kearney. Kearney, left dribble drive on Ali, spins away, now floats it up and gets the soft roll. That was a very long possession for Clarion, but it ended in points. 3.5 minutes left. It's a 3-point game, and the Haven making a pair of changes with Bryson Scott and Kevin Coleman set to come in. They make no changes as of yet. Deegan to Stewart, left corner. Up top to Washington. Washington, high screen against Stewart. Washington quickly pounced on, gives it to Deegan, and now Ali, right corner. Faked the 3, 9 to shoot. Ali on the drive, right elbow. Gives it back to Washington with 5. Washington now on the drive, stops, dunker spot, puts it up and a travel. A step too many from Eli Washington. And now the Haven will put 2 on the floor in Bryson Scott and Kevin Coleman. Adris Ali and Gabe Springer making way. And here we go. 2:56 left. Lock Haven 59, Clarion 56. This has been like a night at the racetrack with how quick the tempo has been. Who will be the deciding winner in this? Here's Nelson. Up to Thomas. Driving on Coleman. Immediately lost the handle. It looked like it had gone off of the foot of Coleman last. He signaled to the bench that was the case, as the Golden Eagles will inbound with 20 to shoot. Clarion inbounds left wing to Thomas. Up top to Howe. Right side Nelson. Nelson trying to set up Kearney down low. A lot of contact. No foul called on the Haven as it's up top to Howe with 10. Now Kearney against Bryson. Goes down low. Puts it up and a foul. As Bryson Scott contested it, the ball was flung up into the air, but it looked like there was some arm there, as it'll be a trip to the line for 2 for Cam Kearney. Kearney looking to get into the 20s yet again. He has had 3 straight games with 20 points or more, and 6 times this season he's finished with a 20-piece. Make that 7, and it should be noted, Clarion are a perfect 6-0 on the season when Kearney finishes with 20 points or more. He's got 20 now as well as 9 boards. He's only got 1 double-double this season. He's 1 rebound away from doing that as he makes them both, and it's a 1-point game at the Fieldhouse, 2.5 minutes left. This is where the context of seasons can be decided. It's Deegan on the right wing to Bryson Scott. Isaiah Stewart left corner with 18 to shoot. Stewart, good crossover, push pass to Coleman, who slams it home. A spinning slam for Coleman. 61-58, just over 2 minutes to play. Thomas, left wing for Howe. Back up top, Kearney gets a good screen. Kearney's drive, low block lay, blocked by Bryson Scott. And Washington comes up with it. He'll slow it down with 2 minutes to go. You want to talk about pulling the rabbit out of the hat. The Haven up by 3, trying to do so here. Blake Deegan with the right wing with 15 to shoot. Now Stewart, or rather Washington, on the drive. Back to Deegan, faking a 3. Deegan now fires. That one won't go. Rebounded by Clarion. And now they fight for it down low. It's a jump ball, and the Haven will keep it. Possession arrow favoring the Bald Eagles. That's a heads-up play by Deegan.
Heads-up play by Deegan. Lock Haven has 28 20 seconds on the shot clock here, and they need to just take their time, take a good shot. You're up by 3. You don't need to force a three-pointer here. Just take your time and look for an open bucket.
Washington to inbound on the far side. There's still a lot of time left. Clarion needs a stop. Washington to inbound. Gives it to Stewart, right wing, with 18 to shoot. Stewart against Kearney. Big size difference. Stewart drives, gets by, floats it up, and rattles it home. 23 points for Isaiah Stewart. 63-58 Haven. Nelson, Thomas up top, and no travel called. He took an extra step, passes to Howe for 3, missed it all. Washington, the rebound, they fight for it, and they call a foul on Thomas. That's their last foul to give. The entire floor stopped, thinking it was a travel, except Thomas and Howe. Howe had a good look. 46% from 3 is Howe, but missed it all on the open look, and Mike Nestor has to be careful. He's furious with something on the floor. Deegan to inbound, Clarion full court press. They inbound to Washington, and a foul on Nelson. That will be a 1-and-1 for Washington on the opposite side of the floor. And my prediction is that was intentional. You want to give the foul quickly, turn it into a free throw game. The Haven are 9th in the PSAC in free throw percentage. They shoot 73% as a team. This game, they're shooting just 5 of 9. Washington struggled mightily in the last game against Wilmington at the line. The 1-and-1, the first one is good. So Eli Washington was a 92% free throw shooter before Wilmington, and he missed 4 attempts in total, including 1 entire trip to the line. He claps his hands after making the first, as it's a 6-point game. A lot of talking on the floor currently as Washington will step up for the second. The second from Washington is true. Just 4 points for Eli Washington, but 2 big free throws there. That makes it a 7-point game with 70 seconds left. Easter, left wing for Howe. Back to Easter, right wing, trying to pass it and gets a foul call. Oh, goodness me. That was a close one with Justice Easter. There was a lot of contact. If I'm a neutral party, I'm saying that's a good call. But my, oh my, could that have been a tone? That might have done it even. As the foul is on Washington, it'll be a 1-and-1 for Justice Easter, who has 78% from the line this season. Easter out of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. First trip to the line tonight. And misses the 1-and-1. The ball picked up by Deegan. An empty possession. They fight for it on a long pass. And Easter had it, but he stepped out of bounds, Josh. He stepped out of bounds, and the Haven have possession back. You could have contained your excitement. I couldn't as well. He just stepped out of bounds. Here's Deegan to inbound. Inbounds it to Washington. They don't foul initially. Now pass to Bryson Scott, up to Stewart. Deegan alone. The foul before the 3. It would have been good, but Stewart was fouled on the pass by Thomas, and the Wisconsin native will go to the line himself.
Let's just count it.
Well, Isaiah Stewart is going to be the player of the game here. 23 points, 2 boards, 5 assists, 2 steals. And here's the big one. Not a single turnover. He has been efficient. He's barely put a foot wrong. He's taken 22 field goal attempts, making 10. A career performance for Stewart, who makes the first of 2. And now the second. That one rattles out. It is an 8-point lead for the Haven. With less than 50 seconds remaining, they need to get busy, Clarion. Nelson to Kearney. Driving on Scott Kearney, gets the buy, doesn't finish. Thomas putback does, and a timeout from Damian Pitts with 39 seconds remaining. And a big sigh from the Rockhaven fans in what has been a thrilling affair at the Fieldhouse. And if the Haven hold on, this could be a season-altering game. Coming off of back-to-back double-digit losses and trailing by 17 at the midway point in the first half, to be up by 6 with the ball, 40 seconds left, this could be monumental.
100%. The one thing Lock Haven has to do here is to take care of the ball, get the ball in bounds. They're trying to foul you here. They're going to try to take you to the line, get the ball to your best free throw shooter, which in this case is Eli Washington, 92% career. Get the ball to him, and let's get this game out of here.
The Bald Eagles will have 2 more PSAC West opponents after this game. They travel to take on Edinburgh next Tuesday. before hosting Gannon, a very formidable opponent, and then PSAC East play begins. And it's been a real struggle in the East for really the entirety of the East. 3 teams of the 9 don't have a conference win. Mansfield and Bloomsburg, the other 2. There are only 2 teams who are undefeated in the PSAC East coming into tonight. Westchester and Shepherd are the 2 undefeated teams. The West has been a slugfest. For Clarion, they're one of 4 teams who are 2-0. Gannon, Pitt, Johnstown, and IUP, the other 3 teams. And Clarion, 39 seconds away from dropping their first conference match. They need a turnover quickly. It'll be Deegan to inbound. He inbounds it to Isaiah Stewart, and a quick foul on Kearney. And Kearney, judging by the reaction, did not want to foul, just the referee's whistle negating the defender.
Kearney, his 3rd, team's 9th.
That is also the 9th team foul, so for the last time, it'll be a 1-and-1 for the Haven. Isaiah Stewart at the line. Now 3 straight games with 5 made field goals. 15 points against Wilmington, but 25 now tonight as he makes the first. Last year was a year to remember for the Haven. Most wins in the Mike Nestor era, most conference wins in program history. This season promised to be a little bit more of a slugfest, judging by the opponents and judging by the players that they've lost. But my goodness, could this be a season-defining win for the Haven? Both free throws are good for Stewart, 68-60, 38 seconds left. Nelson across, gets a screen. Nelson on the drive, floaters up, no. Rebounded by Washington, sends it forward for Stewart. A foot race to the other end. Stewart behind the back for Deegan. Reverse layup and the foul. The foul from Blake, or rather, that was on Howe as Deegan took it to the rack. And it'll be Deegan going to the line for 2. The 4th foul on Howe, and the Haven faithful are starting to sense it.
I think the behind-the-back pass surprised everybody in the gym.
So Blake Deegan, what a story he's had. Took a redshirt year last year, was on the end of the bench in that historic season. Had a terrific performance, his career high against Wilmington. And he is part of a very important starting lineup for Lock Haven, who has really made a difference in this game. It's a 10-point lead for the Bald Eagles, 23 seconds left. Nelson across. Clarion, they're going to find out. They're going to look for what went wrong in this game as Kearney jab step 3 misses, rebounded by Stewart. Clarion has missed now 13 of their last 14 threes to close out the game. Washington will wind the clock down. A historic upset victory, a historic comeback victory for the Bald Eagles. Lock Haven defeating Clarion, a final score of 70-60. An astonishing result for a Bald Eagle team that trailed by 17 in the first half. They get a season-defining win here at the Fieldhouse. And we'll have our interviews coming up.